Welcome back to the Book of Unwritten Tales 2. Yay! Excitement and applause. I think this is possibly the first time that I've done 2 gaming streams back to back, because I like this game so much and because it's going to take forever to finish it. It's really long. I think the average player time is like 20-25 hours. And we're not average. We're well below average. So it's probably going to take a really, really long time. Anyway, let's get into this game. It's blaring at me right now. I might have to turn it down once I turn desktop to audio on. Let's hop over there and look at this book. Right, let's get started. The sound of my own voice. The cringe. Here we are with our stinky kobolds.
I suspect that some sort of strange magical creatures were kept in the cages. Students, for example.
Let me move chat to somewhere where I can actually see. No, chat is safe. But I'm not. This cage thing with the skeleton in it is something that they used to do in Victorian times to children. They would put them in a cage and hoist them up if they were naughty.
The little fellas look like they've got nothing but mischief in mind. I hope they don't get into too much trouble. Ooh, crazy drawings and symbols. That must be really high magic. Only the wisest mages can understand all that.
1 second, I didn't start the subtitles on. Not subtitles, captions. We need the captions. We need the captions. There we go. They're not great, but they're better than nothing. It really has no idea what I'm talking about, so I'm sorry to anyone that relies on captions, but it will have subtitles when I post it on YouTube. Back to the game. Now that we have captions on, is it a teacher's table if there isn't an apple on it?
Teachers are traditionally paid in apples. I got this one myself, because I didn't want to spend my first day without an apple. I wanted to ask the Archmage whether good teachers can expect any other form of payment than apples. But when he showed me the beautiful contract with the seal and all that, it just didn't seem to be the right time to talk about gold.
Always make sure you know you're going to be compensated before you sign the contract.
This book looks very old and important.
Is it another talking one?
Half the class had runny noses, most were recaptured. This is the roll book where the teacher writes down any unusual events.
Anything interesting in there?
Plus 5 points for defeating a troll, minus 50 for leaving your dorm at night. Maybe young Harry is right. That seems a little unbalanced.
Harry Potter
Whoa.
reference.
School must have been more competitive back then. The book is too thick to read without looking for anything in particular.
I guess we have to go look back at it later. But that's definitely a Harry Potter reference.
It didn't let me down this time, though. It worked even better than I expected. It was like it wanted to conjure. I could hardly keep it under control.
It is true though, like in the second book or the movie, whichever you might have seen, the point system is very weirdly weird. That wasn't the second book, it was the first one. Oh my god. It's been so long. You'd never think that I wrote fanfiction for it at all, would you? Once upon a time. Let's see, what else can we find in this room that is a nightmare?
Unusual. This device looks more like ordinary engineering than it does magic. Most magical devices have lots of golden parts, elaborate decorations, and bells and whistles, just the way the mages like them. This one could easily come from a gnome workshop.
Maybe it was made by a gnome. It makes sense.
What does it say? The apparatus that corrupted student Allardyce. A warning to those who do not want to accept the limits of magic.
I wonder what happened to Allardyce. Doesn't seem like it was a good thing.
I don't know who that boy was. He was a right pain in the ass. However, he seemed to understand a great deal about magic, and if I managed to teach him some manners, he could be an excellent student.
He was the one that was like, gnomes can't do magic. Everyone knows that.
Generations of students have left their mark, especially in the form of little pictures and sayings carved into wood. Here's a particularly long one. For all drifters and troublemakers, condemned to write the same sentence on the board over and over again, no problem. Cast the automation spell on the piece of chalk and it does it all the work for you. Bartholomew. Hey, aye, that's cheating. Pretty clever though. The spell carved into wood down there, I'll just write it down.
Thank you, Bartholomew. Teach us the ways to make writing lines easier. I used to get made to write lines in like year 9. For anyone who's not British, that's when you're 13, 14. And I used to tape 2 biros together to it. Because you could do it twice as fast that way.
Oh, Chantal forgot her book. Seems to be a book of fairy tales, but one of the tackier kinds. My dad used to read me fairy tales when I was a kid. The bloodthirstiest, most cruel, creepy, proper fairy tales.
The truly terrible ones that all the Disneyified ones are based on. Like there's a version of Cinderella where the ugly sisters like cut parts of their feet off to fit in the glass slipper, and it's real gory.
I don't think the Archmage even has brochures like these. No posters or town criers or plays. Either he lacks the gold or he doesn't want to conduct his election campaign in this manner.
The other side is using propaganda. That could never go wrong. Could never go wrong. Sorry if I was really sniffy. I have hay fever and it's real bad
This
today.
suggests that Chantal, the daughter of the council leader in Little Timmy share. Hard to imagine two students being any more different. Chantal is only here because of its tradition in her family, and I don't think she really cares about magic or has any real talent for it. Timmy, though, well, he is eager to learn and was so excited the last few days. It's for students like him that we have to get this school back up and running.
Timmy, I forgot about Timmy. Timmy is so good.
A pencil case, a ruler, nothing special.
Timmy is best boy.
I'll just leave it there. Chantal can take it tomorrow.
Why tell me I can take it but I can't take it?
The mixing of potions is an important part of magic. It's a bit like cooking, except a stew doesn't kill you if you add the wrong ingredient.
I mean, it does.
Or if it's stirred wrong.
I guess the stir isn't a thing. But if you put something poison in it, stew will kill you.
No? With a little luck, I can get through the day without causing an explosion. The last time a fire burned in this was before the school disappeared 20 years ago. And even if I could, I shouldn't start a fire in it anyway. The flue was broken, and the smoke would fill the entire classroom.
Fumigation.
A little ash, but also some unburned waste. Here's a sheet of paper.
Papier.
It's a sheet from a book. It's folded in the middle and printed on both sides. That equals 4 pages. It wasn't torn out. It looks more like the glue weakened and the sheet fell out. I'll just take it with me.
Put that away. I'm so tired already. That's what I get for going back to
I don't know exactly why the council leader left
the
the
library.
brochures out. It was agreed that children can't vote. First, they wanted to base eligibility to vote on size, which of course led a resistance among us gnomes and the dwarves. And then they said weight should be decisive. The more you weigh, the more weighty your vote. But then the trolls and ogres would have been overrepresented. In the end, they agreed on a minimum age. However, there are still arguments because rats, undead children, and other minorities can never vote.
How rude of them to do that. We stand for undead children's rights to vote. Hello, Adam. It's totally fine. You're allowed to have food, you know. We haven't really done anything yet. We're just looking at stuff in this room right now. We just learned that they're not letting undead children vote, which is voter suppression.
This is the desk that Chantal, the daughter of the council leader, and little Timmy share. Hard to imagine two students being any more different. Chantal is only here because of its tradition in her family, and I don't think she really cares about magic or has any real talent for it. Timmy, though, well, he is eager to learn and was so excited the last few days. It's for students like him that we have to get this school back up and running.
I can't wait till you meet Timmy. Timmy's so good.
This is the desk that
Yeah, we've seen that bit. These terrifying plants.
Most of the plants dried up. No one looked after them. Only this plant must have found a water source somewhere. Perhaps one of the windows has a leak.
Oh, it's eating things.
When the school disappeared 20 years ago, obviously no one looked after the animals. Expected consequences, really.
Poor fish. I don't know why we're taking its skeleton, but we are apparently.
I don't need the whole skeleton, but a sharp-pointed bone like this might just prove useful.
Oh, I know what that's for. No, Timmy's a different character.
It appears they wanted to replicate the fish's natural habitat as exactly as possible, including miniature treasure chests, just like the ones frequently found in the sea.
The sarcasm.
Hey, some old coins.
Hey.
Maybe one of my predecessors had a vicious fish guard his retirement fund.
Now I remember what his name is because it's literally written on his hat. It's Wilbur. I have completed this game before, but on a different platform. Oop. It was on, I have it on Switch. I've also seen it played, but I did it on Switch. Personally. I think we've looked at everything.
Introduction to magic, sheep breeding and care, statistics. That seems to be some kind of timetable. Well, as long as I'm the only teacher, most of these subjects won't get taught.
Oh, imagine that's a syllabus.
Archmage! Remy!
If it isn't our newest professor. How was your first class, Wilbur?
I want to say this one. The students are horrible. Great, I did some magic.
I conjured up a few kobolds and the students loved it.
Ah, well done. That's the right thing to do. You've already pretty much won the battle, Wilbur. Once they want to learn, they will.
What are you doing here in school? How is the campaign going? Oh, we have to talk about this campaign. Oh, I just remembered. There's a part where that you missed in the last stream where you ring him and he talks about his live action roleplay campaign that he's part of, where he plays a truck driver.
How's the campaign coming along? I hope we're winning.
Oh no, it's
We're
the
still in the lead.
it's the voting campaign.
But our margin is shrinking. Van Buren's bigwig cronies are throwing tons of gold into her election campaign.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be about his LARP. His live action roleplay campaign. No, it's just about his run for. Oh no, that's his brother. Oh, that's his brother, I think. Who knows? Who knows? How are
The
you?
council chairman was here. She picked up her daughter from my class.
Ah, terrible person.
She has great influence, and she has friends in high places.
She could also use her influence to do good too. So why is she trying to bring you down?
She believes that that would be a good thing, Wilbur. Almost no one wants to do evil. There are just very different views on what is evil and what is good.
What brings you to the school?
I wanted to pay Horatius Bloch, the new headmaster, a first visit and see how the school's doing.
That's very nice of you. But don't you have more important things to do?
Well, it's my old school. I once walked these halls as a child myself.
Yeah, it's his brother.
What the Archmage doesn't want to tell you is that something is wrong here. For a few days she has sensed the presence of something evil.
Evil.
What do you mean you sense something evil?
Everything we do and think leaves a trace. You know how you sometimes shudder when you enter a place where great evil has been done? Dark magic leaves a particularly strong trace. Like a bad smell.
Stinky.
And it smells like dark magic around here?
I first felt it a few days ago. First in the lower town, then in the upper town. And now here at the school.
Where did it come from? I mean, do you know who's responsible?
I don't. The trace dissipates. There is too much wild magic in the air here at the school.
We must keep our eyes open at all times. Good detective work will serve us better in this case than some hocus pocus.
Who is the new headmaster?
So what's he like, the new headmaster?
He's no mage, that's for certain.
He is an agent of the council leader.
First and foremost, he is a reliable official with principles, Remy. The council leader of the merchants did appoint him, and he may advocate her policies. Yet I do not believe he will conspire against us. He is stern, but upright.
Did you see the way he looked at me? Like I was vermin. No, I tell you. The council leader has hired him for one reason and one reason only. He is supposed to make life difficult for our Wilbur here.
Am I being set up to fail so they can put the blame on you, Archmage?
Ah, if that's their plan, then they have already lost.
How are things in the town? Have things calmed down?
Not really. The barricades are getting higher and the camp is getting larger.
People are getting impatient, and who could blame them? The war is over, yet everyone is doing worse and worse.
But you're doing your best, Archmage.
It takes time, Wilbur. The deeper the wounds, the longer they need to heal. And nothing causes deeper wounds than war.
We must deliver results. Most still trust Alistair, but the mood could swing. Then we would not only lose the election, we would have a riot on our hands.
I think I'll go see the headmaster. Goodbye, Archmage. Bye, Remy.
Goodbye, Wilbur. Don't let them intimidate you.
I'll do my best, and I won't give up.
I know.
You go on ahead, I'll be along in a minute.
Longest unpaused bit of.
Right, Wilbur. There
No,
are
I
problems.
want to talk. Oh, the longest unpaused voice acting ever. Thank you to Mario 735. 4 is the code. I know who you are. I know where you are. I know where you are. That sounds incredibly ominous. But also, thank you all. Now I just need to actually be here and do it and stream.
That bit about dark magic all over the city does not sound good.
It's not just that. I think the Archmage's life is in danger.
What?
There was an attack, or there may have been one. Alistair insists it was a coincidence, but how often do heavy gargoyles just break off the mage tower when he is standing below them?
Oh
I
no.
have assigned as many rats as I can spare to guard him, but you must also keep your eyes open, Wilbur.
Me?
Not only is something going on in the city, something is happening in the school too. We need information. We need to find out who is behind all this.
Remy. We love Remy. Rat, head of the Secret Service.
I hear Alistair's finally appointed you head of the Secret Service. From King of Thieves to high public office, eh?
Absolutely. Made quite a stir. It is the first time a rat has ever officially held an official government position. More than a few are of the opinion that with so many humans out of work, rats should not receive any jobs at all.
But nobody knows the city like you
Stupid.
rats do. You really helped me out during my last adventure. You brought me potion ingredients and my fantastic magic wand.
And you saved Timmy and my entire clan from starvation. We'll never forget that, Wilbur Weathervane.
People of this world are so like us in their meanness. But I guess that's everywhere.
Timmy was a great help during my first lesson this morning.
Yes, he has done well. He absolutely wants to be a mage, just like his role model.
Just like the Archmage.
Rat
No,
mage.
just like the hero of the Black Tower. For Timmy and many others, you are one of the heroes who ended the war.
Oh, me? Then it's best I talk to the headmaster and ask him what I should do for him.
Whatever it is, just do it and act inconspicuous. But keep your eyes open for anything unusual while you do so. Well, things that look unusual even in an enchanted mage school.
Got it.
Why don't we meet down at the inn after work? Then we can exchange news.
Oh, I just hope Headmaster Block doesn't keep me busy all night.
Oh, you'll be fine. You defeated the Shadow Army. Never forget that.
Yeah, just back then I wasn't alone.
True, there was Ivor and Nate back then. And right now we're on our own.
When you summon creatures, I've read that you don't really create them. You just call them from somewhere else. I don't know where the kobolds came from, but they don't give me the impression they want to go back there soon.
We come from the dungeon dimension.
If I was as big as a troll, I could maybe reach it. If?
True. Gnome life is being small.
When I first arrived at the school a few days ago, I got a real fright when I first saw it. I mean, I knew about armor from books, but if you imagine that there's a real person inside, and has been for decades, ew.
Ew.
That's silly. Whoever's in the armor would have died a long time ago. Unless it's a ghost.
Ghost. A ghost.
Maybe the tapestry shows who the knights served. I don't know much about these things, unfortunately. We didn't have knights in the White Ridge Mountains. Probably they sank in the snow.
That's incredibly weird logic. We didn't have ghosts. They must have sank into the snow.
The school looked terrible when it reappeared. It took days before we could move freely on the ground floor. Don't even want to think about upstairs.
True, if you leave a magical school for 20 years just on its own, I don't imagine the great things are happening.
A lever. No idea what it does.
Let's go see the headmaster.
Headmaster Block.
Ah, Professor Weathervane. There you are at last. I have some tasks for you.
I look forward
I
to
look
it.
forward to us
Reply.
working together.
I'll be frank, Professor Weathervane. You have a mage diploma, but have not completed the tests required in order to work as a teacher. Attested credentials, a written application, nothing. You are only here on the Archmage's recommendation.
That's right. But there's currently a shortage of mages, and everyone must do their best.
Do their best is well and good, but it does not replace the formal and mandatory training for teachers of higher magic.
I don't know if you can hear right now, but I have like a big thing of jelly beans on my desk. And I just keep looking at them. Like, I can't eat them in stream.
But the Archmage Alistair trusts me to teach here at the school.
Well, yes. Mages have a well-known penchant for chaos. I'm still trying to get an overview. The records management in this school defies description. Council Leader Van Buren wants to reorganize this educational institution and finally bring structure into the place, and she has my full support.
I mean, I
Correct
doubt.
management of the teaching records must once again become the teaching staff's primary task. That is the only possible way to institute efficient control of learning and teaching methods.
I was gonna say, I doubt wizards like prioritize file management. It doesn't seem like a high-end like thing they would want to do. Also, I never said happy summer solstice to everybody. Today is the longest day. You'll be able to see loads of pictures of people at Stonehenge to watch the sunset and the sunrise today. Luckily today it wasn't as hot as it was last week, I don't think. Last Friday was really bad. It was really hot. I almost got heat stroke at the beach. So stay safe in the heat as best you can.
I may have no formal training as a teacher, but I managed to thrill my students in the very first hour. I performed a spell, and you could really see the way they caught fire. Not literally, of course. It wasn't a fire spell or anything of that sort.
You performed a spell?
How dare you?
Yes. And now they want to learn to do the same. They want to learn.
According to my records, history of magic was on the syllabus.
Yes, but...
Professor Weathervane, crucial to our success in teaching is that we provide students with a stable, reliable framework and adhere to the curriculum exactly.
Yes, but the students...
Had you enjoyed proper training, you would have known that. I will note this failure in your file, and in the future you will stick to the curriculum, dear colleague.
I don't know how other people feel about this guy, but he has very strong Professor Snape vibe. But also that guy, that guy from Ratatouille, the critic guy. I can't remember what he's called, but the one that they feed Ratatouille to, and he's like, it reminds me of my mother. That guy. He's like their love child.
You mentioned tasks earlier, Headmaster?
Yes, you have 2 tasks. As you know, the Archmage is coming early tomorrow to officially inaugurate the school. Important political and business personages will be attending, and as you can assumedly see, the school is not in a presentable condition. Council Leader Van Buren has hired a caretaker, but he cannot do the work alone. Your tasks are to help him clean the floor in the entrance hall and remove the cobwebs by tomorrow.
Cleaning.
You want me to sweep the hall and get rid of the cobwebs?
That's not in
Is
my
that
contract.
really my job as a teacher?
Yes, indeed. A school is a team endeavor, so that means you have to do what I tell you.
If you told me to get rid of the flying kobolds, that I would have understood.
What did you say? Flying kobolds?
Uh...
If there are flying kobolds infesting the place, they must be got rid of too. See to it, Weathervane. Floor, cobwebs, flying kobolds, fix them.
His chin is so pointy as well.
You support the council leader in the election, right?
Indeed I do. We need to build up an extensive bureaucracy and boost the economy as quickly as possible. To me, the council leader appears to be a more logical choice than a mage. But do not worry, Weathervane. I don't blame you for your political naivete. As a school headmaster, I am neutral and always act according to school rules.
Doesn't seem
And
that
of
neutral
course,
at me.
Political influence in schools is prohibited.
Which is why it
Tell
never
that to
happens.
Council Leader Van Buren.
What's that?
A brochure.
Oh, it's one of the campaign brochures the council leader put in my classroom.
I'll take care of it.
Speaking of restaurants, I had to wait 20 minutes for the bus, and the entire time the Italian restaurant down the road is like wafting garlic bread smells at me, and it was like torture. I almost sent a message in Discord that was, can someone come save me? An Italian restaurant is torturing me with garlic bread. It was so bad. Because it smelled like really good garlic bread. I was like, how dare you? How dare you do this to me? When this is the last bus home.
Huh. And apart from cleaning, what else is there to do?
The inventory has revealed that a number of items of school property have gone missing.
Well, no.
Among other things, the school library.
The library's
The whole
missing.
library has gone missing.
That is correct. I asked the Archmage about the matter, and he confirmed to me that the room was there before. He does not know where it is now. He said something about its being in hiding, perhaps, or away traveling. I think it's unseemly. I want that room. We are a school, and we need a library.
Agreed. But where should I start looking?
That I cannot tell you. You are the mage.
You ask a lot. I don't know if I can get all this done by tomorrow morning.
By tomorrow morning, you have until 72 o'clock.
72 o'clock.
I have developed my own efficient metric system of measuring time. A day has 100 hours, consisting of 100 minutes, with 100 seconds each. Everything else is too confusing.
So,
Metric
don't even have
time.
until tomorrow morning.
For a properly qualified teacher, even the impossible poses no problem. Or should I note in your file that you do not feel up to the tasks assigned you?
No, I'll do it.
Very good. And then you can call it a day and prepare tomorrow's lessons.
One thing's clear. Headmaster Block wants me to fail, but I won't disappoint the Archmage. And secondly, I like this school. And a school library would be great for the students. And third, the work the headmaster has given me is the perfect opportunity to keep my eyes open for Remy.
Imagine you go into the school library and they're just like, I'm sorry, the library's on holiday. Search the filing cabinet. Oh, top level skills we're using here. Looking through the filing cabinet. This might seem incredibly boring, but there's a lot of funny flavor text. So we're just gonna go for it.
Allardyce, Albert. He seems to be an excellent student. There are many entries about improper interjections and questions. Oh, what's this? Axel A. Aronson. Axel cannot pay his school fees as he gives all his money to dodgy game developers.
These are part of I think it was kickstarted, like a lot of the names was like a perk, but yeah.
Beaverus Deepwood. Beaverus tried to turn wood into gold. In the end, he got mahogany, which in turn he sold for a lot of gold. Brian Blackstone. Brian became the youngest student ever to successfully cast the teleportation spell. He teleported himself 20 feet into the air and successfully fell to his death.
Successfully.
Bernison, Troll. Bernison of High Wind Lake managed to collapse the south wing of the school by sneezing. Daniel A. Curlshaw. Daniel conjured himself a magical forest and has not been seen since. Disaster. D died in a devastating explosion near a fireplace. His last essay on the development of my fart spell will be passed on to his surviving family. Elmar Frog. Elmar's father, the royal executioner, asked for permission to see his son's school records. Elmar is doing fine. Truly. Really fine lad. Looks as if a few pages were ripped out here.
We already found the thing that you need to find from here, but we're just gonna go because some of these are hilarious.
Fluffy Foffofoff. Fluffy transformed pure gold into a tasty piece of bread, so refuting the old saying that you cannot eat gold. Hiker Granger. Despite repeated warnings, which hiker is still using the school's Palantir to make long-distance calls?
Wouldn't everyone though? Imagine you have a Palantir. Aren't you gonna ring people from really far away?
Frederica Sillybottom. Frederica Sillybottom has applied to the City Council for a change of name. She shall henceforth be known as Frederica Sillybottom.
We love that.
Ingemar Thunderflash. Despite repeated demands, Ingemar refuses to tell us his real last name. No one is called Thunderflash.
I feel like that's a reference to something that I can't think of on the top of my head right now.
Yoda Green Gnome. Magic strong in this one is, but weak his grammar be. Lennart the Akagamic. Lennart the Akagamic, genius of the buttons, mage of the keys, has broken more brains than hearts. Most recently his own brain, which earned him a private suite in the Arkhamstein Asylum.
Arkhamstein.
Marcel Makes-a-Lot. Marcel summons large hairy mammals and refuses to stop doing so. Marco Marco intentionally uses words like and because he believes it would be too embarrassing to write them down here. Mario Mushroom. Mario jumps on other people's heads, lights them on fire, and then calls the whole thing non-violent.
Calling out Mario.
Mark of the Southlands. Lord Mark of the Southlands yesterday set fire to several teachers and flooded the gym. Again. Movie Van Grove. Movie Van Grove transformed the school sheep into an ape, although the librarian expressly forbids apes in the school.
That's a reference to Terry Pratchett. As you learned last Thursday when we talked about the ape. Well, he's not an ape, he's a monkey, I suppose, isn't he? Or isn't it ape? Oh my god, what is not a gorilla, what is an orangutan? I think an orangutan is an ape. Because I think if you call him a monkey in the book, he gets very violent at being called a monkey.
Armadillo. Armadillo was expelled. It turned out that he was an armadillo in a penguin suit with a sign that said moo. Okay, now that's just weird.
Armadillos taking over the world. Or PT. Papa the Great.
Papa the Great, the only student of this academy whose width exceeds his height, today received his degree. He will be missed. Percy Smith. Percy detonated a stink bomb during run-in training. The students never ran faster. Student Smith received an award. Peter, Troll. The Hunters Guild has asked us to find a new caretaker. It seems the grumpy troll snoring and farting is scaring off the wildlife for miles around. René Beetle. René claims to have been in a sky full of diamonds with a certain Lucy. Visits from females are strictly prohibited in this school. So are mushrooms.
Beatles reference.
Russell the Undead. Russell the Undead Mage is constantly losing skin. There have been numerous complaints from the cleaning staff. Sasha Shalislash. This entry was only added to make life difficult for anyone who has to read it out loud. Sorry. Hey, it's not very nice.
That's a bit mean.
Serena Derpmancer. Serena discovered a completely new kind of magic. A second, completely unrelated incident then destroyed the entire laboratory. Speedster. Document not found. Did you mean speedster or speedstar? Theragor Biraton. Theragor lost today's archery contest after he fired his arrow in the wrong direction. We sent his family flowers.
Oh no, that's so dark.
Toby Corner. Toby Corner. Wise remarks, deficient. Wise cracks, good.
And lastly, Yuzi. And there isn't any. Right, now we need to find a lot of things, do a lot of stuff.
Oh, a display case documenting the achievements of pupils of the school. Some sports trophies, pictures of slain dragons, pupils in front of smouldering pots. Pride of Place seems to go to a trophy won in a broom ball tournament.
Quidditch.
This must be the best clock in the world. Most only have 2 or 3 hands. This one has at least 10. I don't really know what the clock wants to tell me, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't just show the time. There's so much to discover. I wish I could stay here forever. Broomball originally went by a different name. It was played on broomsticks using 6-winged balls. But there were legal complications. That's why today resembles nothing more than soccer, except that each player has a broom strapped to their back. The display case can't be opened like that. It's locked.
No, I want to steal things.
It says Fireplace Travel Network Map. It shows a lot of fat black dots connected by lines. Above each of the dots is a name: Seastone, Mage Tower, Entrance Hall, Coaching Inn, Fox's Den, and many more. 3 animal symbols are located beneath each of the dots. I've heard about this. Wizards use a powder to travel through the fire in one fireplace to the fire in another. Of course, this doesn't just work with any fireplace. It must be on the Fireplace Travel Network. And this plan shows which fireplaces are connected to which.
Harry Potter reference.
Firewood? More than enough to make a decent fire. It's really cold in here. I'm gonna light a small fire, okay?
Do you intend to burn school property?
No, there's some firewood right here.
Yes, and it belongs to the school.
Oh, sure.
How dare you?
What an impressive fireplace. If it were lit, it would be warm in here in no time. Oh, how pretty. A swan folded from a piece of paper. This is origami, an ancient elf art form. The dwarven word for this art form means something like pointy ears build dust catchers out of paper because they can't deal with stone. Hey, this isn't just some sheet of paper, it's... Sorry, Swan. It is! Another book page. Or, more precisely, another folded sheet of paper upon which 4 pages have been printed. When I look at the page numbers on the first sheet and on this sheet, it seems there are at least 5 sheets missing.
I guess we're collecting paper. Troll.
Whoa, the new caretaker troll.
Oh. Physically made me ill. I'm gonna have to eat a jelly bean now.
Hello. Hello. I'm Wilbur Weathervane. Professor Wilbur Weathervane. I teach, so I'm pleased to make your acquaintance.
Oh, this jelly bean. It's so sour. Who knew blueberry could be this sour? Oh, it's sour. Oh, it's sour, and I'm not weak to sour. I'm very strong to sour. Oh, it's so sour. Oh, I need a drink. Okay, I'm alive now. I wasn't eating them. I just got disgusted by him putting it in his mouth, and I was like, I need a jelly bean to get over this, and then it was so sour. I was like, blueberry should be safe. I mean, they are sour jelly beans. That's how they were sold, but like, the raspberry one isn't that sour. The cherry one isn't that sour. The mandarin flavoured one isn't that sour. But the blueberry one is just like... The lemon and the apple and the blueberry are really, really sour. And then the lime, like mandarin orange, and pineapple and raspberry and cherry aren't that sour at all. But oh my god, that was bad.
We carried loads of rubbish out of the school. I guess we must have overseen those. I'll take them with me. Done is done.
Got some bots.
I'd love to know what's on the upper floors, but it's far too dangerous. A magical building that's been left on its own for 2 decades has magic seeping through the walls. Could be lethal.
It was painful. I was like, do I spit this out? Oh, my sauce. My sauce.
If you were to talk to me, we could work together to accomplish much more for the school. Come on. I demand that you talk to me.
It's not how you get people to talk to you.
Great. Someone else to make demands around here.
What are you doing?
What does it look like?
Well, it looks like you're not doing much.
You want to tell me how to do my job?
What is your job?
Not as you go. Yeah, that's you all right.
This is one of the funniest characters.
You've been a caretaker for long? What exactly are your duties?
I run the place.
Oh,
Nothing here works without me. Just no one notices, that's all.
I see. But don't the teachers and the school administration, etc., have a small share in the success of the school, right?
What success? You've had a look round this dump. It's disgusting. All dirty and run down.
Everyone knows someone like this. Either there's someone that you work with, or like they're a family member.
Yes, it's quite dirty here, in fact. But isn't it your job to do something about it?
What do you think I'm doing?
Could take a while until you're done cleaning up the mess, right?
If you say so, Mr. Know-it-all.
Headmaster Block has ordered you and I to clean the hall and free it of cobwebs.
Already on it?
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be progressing.
Oh, you can of course do it better.
Not that, only maybe you could use some help. Do you have any other cleaning supplies? A broom, dustpan?
Sure, got it all. But I ain't giving you none. Get your own.
What's your problem? I'm offering you help and saving you a lot of work.
Oh, boo-hoo, cry me a river.
Cry me a river. Gnome. Cry me a river. Gnome. You know, you gotta love that they made the troll a troll.
Look, you were told to clean the entrance hall. I was told to clean the entrance hall. If we work together, it will be faster for both of us. Don't you get it?
Sure, Professor Brain should know. The rest of us are idiots.
I never said that, but it is a fact.
Don't know about anything, but want to play the big man here, huh?
It is quite obvious that.
No one else is allowed an opinion. We had that here before, you know. Rotten fascist.
I don't want to fight with you.
Your parents are siblings. Yeah, all three of them.
I bet
Your
Council Leader
parents'
Van Buren
siblings
got
are
you
all
the job
three
here.
of them.
Of course, she wanted the best.
Oh, great. I think she'd be perfectly happy if no progress was ever made here at the school.
Know what your problem is? You're a windbag. Bert thinks so too.
Who's Bert?
Buddy of mine, he thinks you're a windbag too.
But I don't even know Bert. Even we just met.
So you're saying I'm lying? That's exactly what Bert, me and the others hate about you.
There is no Bert.
You really live in your own little world, you windbag.
It is amazing.
I'm keeping an eye open for a friend. So please let me know if anything unusual happens in the school. Well, you know, if for example someone's wandering around the school who has no business here, or if things disappear, or, you know, things like that.
There was a penny stuck in the door.
You what?
There was a penny stuck in the door. Wouldn't open.
Ah, that's probably not important.
Did you put the penny in there?
Me? No.
If I find a coin in there, I'm taking you down.
I'm taking you down.
It was nice talking to you. I really don't understand why so many people don't want to talk to trolls.
Arseholes, the lot of them. They don't want us to speak our minds.
And I think that's wrong. That's why I let you.
Yeah, but then you run down everything I say. Who made you sheriff here? This school is going downhill and has been for a long time. Ever since you and a few others came here, there's been nothing but stress.
Hang on a minute. Isn't this your first day?
Didn't used to be that way. But now everything has to be politically correct, or you get silenced immediately.
Yeah, well, goodbye.
Goodbye.
How can I ever get the hall cleaned up? And by, 72 o'clock? What's this? Another book page. I'll take it with me. The door to the magic school actually consists of several doors. One for the large creatures, such as trolls, one for humans and elves and the like. And then there's one for gnomes and dwarves, and one for even smaller beings. That is supposed to symbolize that everyone is welcome in the school. But in reality, graduate mages are almost exclusively human. I'm the first non-human to graduate in many years. Guess that's why my door hinges squeak. I can't leave until I've completed the 3 tasks. I don't want to let the Archmage down.
Alright, let's go back to the classroom. Because I cannot remember what we're supposed to do. I think... Let's have a look what's in here. I think we set fire to the dry boards. Because then he can't be like, oh, you're just using school supplies.
I hope that is not school property that you intend to burn there, Professor Weathervane.
They're just a few old boards.
From the school here?
Yes, but you should have thrown them away.
You should have thrown them away, but you didn't do so.
I thought to myself, why throw away the boards and waste expensive firewood? Why unnecessarily burden school finances?
Good thinking, Professor Weathervane. Carry on.
Wowzers! Even outside the classroom, this job is more complicated than I first thought.
When your boss is a miser, always saving money.
I don't know how to conjure fire. Might have been part of my mage training, but I never learned.
What do we have? We have a fairy spell. We have the automation spell. Let's talk to him because I can't remember what he wanted us to do.
Is he working for the school? Or himself? Or is he...
Oops. Didn't mean to skip his dialogue.
Excuse me, Headmaster Block.
Yes?
Let's find out. I met the cold sweeper. How many notes on your desk have a small hole?
I met the caretaker. Troll.
I
Cool.
know what you want to say. I'm not enthusiastic about it myself. Trolls are sullen, slow, and rude. But what can I do? They have a stranglehold on the janitorial market. We must live with it. Still, we were able to negotiate a good contract.
What do you mean?
Paragraph 1, Section 1. The troll is not allowed to speak with any school employee or student unless explicitly requested.
Let's move these jelly beans out of the way so I can move my keyboard. There we go. I don't know why I needed to move my keyboard, but I did.
Why do so many of the notes on your desk have a small hole in the middle?
That's airmail. You spike the message on the beak of a homing pigeon.
That's not how
Not
that
an
works.
optimal method. First one obviously has a hole in the paper, and secondly, the pigeons are constantly flying into cliffs.
I think there's a simpler solution.
And that would be...
You could simply write the letters directly onto the pigeons themselves. As long as the pigeons are white and the ink black, the text should be clearly visible.
This is also not how it works.
Bad idea at all. But it would make the archiving more difficult.
Messenger pigeons, you write on a piece of paper, and you roll it up, and you put it in a little pocket on the pigeon's leg. That's how it works.
About those tasks.
Yes?
Alright, you find the library, get rid of the kobolds, clean.
Oh, nothing.
Hmm?
Records seem to be very important to you.
Order is very important. Records are a tool to that end.
I have a loose leaf binder for spells.
Commendable. Maybe you can do something with this, then. There is no room for a spell in my files.
It's
Archive
about
it
this
to the
fire
end.
spell.
Gladly. So, I'll get back to work then.
Be my guest.
Obviously, you've got to make things as complicated as possible to do magic.
A spell? Someone has written a note in the margin. Headmaster Pinkerton, this spell is currently circulating throughout the school. It opens tabs, knots, loops, and the like. By
Guess
now,
not.
there is hardly a student or teacher in this school who still has their pants around their waists and not their ankles. We need to stop this immediately. It seems magic isn't always limited to serious things.
Here's me hoping it was the fire spell.
I don't think that'll work. The spell opens loops, straps, hooks, and eyes. Things like that.
Oh, I know what it's for.
As I suspected, there's another spell to open locks.
We love that. Why not have one spell to just open things? No, we need two different discrete spells. We're gonna do this
Oh,
now.
hello.
We're gonna...
Why have you always got to be in my face?
I don't.
I have to go. A lever. No idea what it does.
We're at the point in the game where I don't fully remember how I do all the things. Right, we don't need that one, I don't think. Is it that one? I think we need them both open. Yeah, and then the kobold. Was it just this one open? No, it's not just this one open. I always can see what I'm doing. Then you close this one. Yes. And then you open this one.
Bye.
Knocks it down and then you close this one. And we close this one. No, I need to go back because he'll come back in. We need to close this one. There we go. That was terrifying. So like, I'm at the point where I remember how to do things, but I can't remember how you get to the place where you do the things.
This is the desk that Chantal, the daughter of the council leader, and little Timmy share. Hard to imagine two students being any more different. Chantal is only here because of its tradition. Timmy, though.
I listen to that.
Oi! Stop that! He kissed a picture of the princess.
Ew.
Probably better if I put the book in a safe place.
I might not necessarily remember how to do things in the right order.
This is hard to... Timmy, though.
We should be able to read this now that we looked at literally every name.
Maybe I can find something in the roll book about this Allardyce mentioned in the note on the apparatus. Here.
Sorry, I just knocked you.
Despite repeated warnings, young Allardyce continued his experiments on his fire maker. To my great regret, I must say that the device works. He demonstrated it to the staff. We had to have him committed to the asylum in Arkhamstone because of his delusions and insubordination. A wizard who invents a fire maker and then committed to an insane asylum by other wizards. I guess they didn't understand his new kind of magic back in their time, or they figured their monopoly was in danger. For a long time, wizards were the only ones allowed to make fire. A fire maker is an amazing piece of engineering. You fill it with flammable gas, which is then ignited using complicated technology.
I remember now. It's
If I need
incredibly
fire, maybe
convoluted.
your fire maker could help.
How to make the fire.
Nothing. Either it's broken or missing fuel, or I'm not using it correctly. I would have to learn more about it.
Can't use the potions thing.
It gives you hope to know that something beautiful and peaceful has survived in this gloomy building. Ah! Ugh!
What have we got? We got a book of fairy tales, we got the open spell, we got a book, we got coins, we got a fishbone, we got pages, we got automation spell, we got empty dry food package, we got nibbled notepad, we got fairy spell, we got a wand.
Master Marcus's number won't help me anymore. He's probably already on his way to his live role-playing game. I wonder if Friedlin still likes pet food. I should buy a new package and see.
Oh, we haven't gone back in here. That's something else we can do. Poor Friedlin.
The way he looks at the moment, he could give Bertram, the world's fattest hamster, a run for his money. But he'll get back to normal. A short nap and he'll be right as rain.
I think it might take a bit more than that.
That's when I found out Grandad has a whole box of these goggles. Every time he tries to persuade some idiot to do something stupid, he makes a rousing speech and then hands over his old aviator goggles.
Pro moves by Grandad there. That's what I would do too. Is there anything in here that we need?
At first I didn't want to accept. I know almost nothing about magic. But Master Alistair said there are very few mages left, and I had completed mage training faster than anyone else. I was the right person for the job. I wanted to help.
You were the only person for the job.
Hopefully that was the right decision. I wouldn't want to disappoint Master Alistair.
Good news for you. Well, but you were the only person for the job. I think we've looked at everything in here. Nothing up here. Let's go back.
He was crazy about the Book of Fairy Tales. Well, rather, the picture of the princesses in it. That's just not right. Maybe I can lure him into a trap. Hey, look! That book!
Pro moves, pro moves.
Ah, I have you now. Well, sort of. Locked up in a dark place with a book of fairy tales.
Who knows what unspeakable things are happening
Time to
in there.
negotiate. Hello? Can you hear me? I got nothing against you, but you have to leave the school. It's too dangerous here for you, and you're interfering with the routine. I'm going to slowly open the desktop now, and you're going to come out peacefully. Right then. Ah! Ow! Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I should probably make the best of this. I'll just keep him in the pencil case where it's safe.
Oh yeah, the inescapable pencil case. Safest of all places.
I think he's woken up, and he's looking for trouble. Looks like someone wanted to start a fire and burn the book pages. Lucky for me, they failed.
I can't look at the chemistry thing yet, so I think you need to go back out here.
Excuse me, Headmaster Block.
Yes?
About those tasks.
About those tasks.
Yes?
Can't one or two of the kobolds just stay here in the school? After all, they are magical creatures.
Good luck
and
to you
students can
too.
examine them and take them for walks.
Rioting kobolds in my school? I'll have none of it. They have to go.
Ah, shame that. If I have to clean the hall, is there anything I can use to do it with?
The caretaker troll was supplied accordingly. Ask him.
He
But
doesn't
he's
want
not
to give me
talking.
anything.
You are a professor. He is a janitor. Assert yourself.
Kobolds, the kobolds, the cobwebs in the hall
The
are
cobwebs in the hall
unreachable.
are a long way up.
And?
You may not have noticed, but I'm a rather average-sized gnome.
That is no
True.
excuse. Get to work.
Oh, I hate. Oh, places where they're like, you have like a reasonable inability to do something. And they're like, yeah, well, that's not an excuse. Just do it. And you're like, how about you help me achieve the ability to do this thing first?
I haven't had any luck finding the library yet.
I hope you're not relying on luck in your endeavors. What is your strategy for looking for the room?
I search? What I wanted to... So, I'll get back to work then.
Be my guest.
Right, we can't talk to him anymore. For now. We've been through the Kylan cabinet.
Should I misuse the broom on display to sweep out the entrance hall? I mean, a broom is a broom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I can't open the display case. It's locked, and I don't have a key.
Oh, I remember.
I can't leave until I've completed the 3 tasks and informed the headmaster.
We don't
I
need
don't
to
want to let
leave.
the archmage down.
We don't need to leave. We can just look at it and totally not do shady things.
If I put a coin into the gap in the door on the same side as the hinges, the door won't open anymore. Done, and the caretaker never twigged. Oh, hello.
Why have you always got to be in my face?
Oh, that's
I
he
think
hid
there's
the
a coin
coin.
stuck in the
So
door. Can't open it anymore.
Did you stick a coin in there?
we would never do
No.
that.
I hate it when the doors get blocked.
fire hazard. Now, where is it?
Quick now. Omnia nunc aperero. Ha ha, he didn't twig.
I'm stealing the keys, stealing the keys.
Got them.
We can get in that cupboard now. Let's go back this way. This part is a lot of going from one room to the other room. Get the keys. Open the display case. Steal the broom.
One of these keys has got to fit. Ah, there we go.
What are those noises, Professor Weathervane?
I was just removing an ugly stain from our display case. Our school's achievements should be there for all the world to see as a shining example.
Well said.
Nothing else to see. Back this way. Oh, we want the broom out.
Right then, sleeves rolled up, a song on the lips, and off we go.
Sweep, sweep, sweep.
Oh, who am I trying to fool? The dirt is rock hard and impossible to shift, and the broom's too big for me, and the hole's huge, and I hate cleaning.
Who likes it?
It'll take me hours to get this done. There must be a better way.
Gotta cheat. Gotta cheat and use magic.
Let's see. Why work when you can do magic?
True. Right, got cleaning started. We have the kobolds, I think 2 of them. Can you use this? Nope, I can't use that yet. We did the pencil case one. We did the window one. We've done. We got the broom me. We got the papers. We got the boards. There we are, it's done.
He's already done with the floor. At least, I'd call it clean enough. If it were any more clean, it would just point out how dirty everything else is. Okay, broom, you can stop. Broom, that's it. Hey, stop! Stop, I said!
Swish, 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 swish.
Oh, I may have a little problem.
You have a magician's apprentice problem. Is what we have. I guess we have to do that later.
Can I use... But I don't think I should do it. Using magic to compel living creatures to do something against their will? Ugh. I didn't become a mage to do things like that.
That's not what I was intending.
Oh, hello.
Why have you always got to be in my face?
As you can see, I've swept the hall. Maybe you could collect the cleaning supplies.
You didn't sweep the hall, the broom did. You want to steal the credit, huh?
Stealing the broom's
but
credits
The
now.
broom and I sweep everything here, and you want to reap the reward.
Headmaster Block wants to get rid of the kobolds.
Didn't tell me.
But he did tell me, and I want you to help me.
Want whatever you want.
Why you like that?
Like what?
So unfriendly, destructive, and such an arse.
Trolls troll.
Trolls troll. Trolls be trolling. Oh. Even after that terrible experience of the blueberry jelly bean, I still want to eat one. But I'm scared to eat one. Let's go with mandarin. It can't be that bad. She says, hopefully. Not as bad. Like 10,000 times less.
I know why you don't want to help. You can't.
Reverse
You're
psychology.
neither smart enough nor fast enough to catch the kobold.
I can do anything better than you can, that's for sure. But I don't have to
do
prove anything to you.
Better than you. I can do anything better than you. No, you can. Yes, I can.
Never mind. I like the kobolds. To be honest, I'm actually even proud of them.
Yeah, I've seen better.
Yeah, however, it would make me really angry if someone scared the kobolds off.
Huh? You talking to me?
You told me.
Things can't go on like this. Is that all you want? Just to be a right pain in the arse all your life? Someone who just annoys others without ever lifting a finger?
Blah, 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 blah. What is it? Finally notice your own
Kobolds done.
stupidity?
You,
Want to apologise? Ha, loser.
that was a waste.
I think we have to we have to like catch it. So you have to reuse the animation spell. Like you have to catch the brush at exactly the right time, and it's like, am I losing my mind? I mean, it's very possible that it's the latter. Strategies. Anyway, we will go back to talk to the headmaster since we've completed getting rid of our flying friends.
Excuse me, Headmaster Block.
Yes?
About those tasks.
Yes?
Yes.
I have some good news from the entrance hall. The fight against the dirt has been won.
Very well.
However, what is your position on enchanted items?
As long as they function properly and can be controlled, no problem.
Then there's one more little thing I still have to do. All kobolds have been driven off, as far as I can tell.
Good job then. How did the vermin actually get in here?
For, maybe they were in town on business and got lost?
Totally believable story.
Some joker must have summoned them. Or the Archmage. Probably wants me to look bad in my new job. Luckily, I was able to contain the kobold plague.
Well, actually, it was me.
Certainly. But who ordered you to do it?
What I wanted to...
Hmm?
So, I'll get back to work then.
You
Now
do
we
that.
need to make
After all, you have already
the
accomplished
fire.
something.
Somehow. Right, we have wood in there. I think we need light to see anything else.
I hope no one notices the broom is missing. I'll put it back when the job's done.
So now we go out here. Go in here. Let's cheat. Ah, packets.
What's this? A gift? For Wilbur A. Wow! That's... what is it?
I'm a magic slate.
Magic slate. I forgot about the magic slate.
You look like you're pretty expensive.
Thank you.
And you're a gift. You're mine now.
The gift wrap and greeting card seem to indicate that this is the case.
But who is A?
Insufficient parameters.
Maybe Alistair, the Archmage.
Mordred, Vivian, Leslie, Alistair, Archmage of Seastone.
He probably
Vivian.
thought I might need some help. How nice of him. Vivian. But what exactly are you? A talking slate?
I can speak, write, draw, calculate, sing, write poetry, and vibrate. And answer almost any question.
What?
Wow!
Why? Why did she pronounce vibrate like that?
Can you be used to play games which appear to be free at first glance, but in the long term empty your pocket and leave you destitute?
Dare I play
No.
Marl?
I am a tool and was not designed for unproductive activities such as games.
Too bad. I bet you're really useful.
Insufficient parameters.
So let me get this straight. I can write on you, and paint, and... Do you know any spells?
No,
Can you give me any tips on how I can do my tasks?
unless it's about recipes. Probably not.
I like you anyway. Okay, yeah, over and out.
I just realised I got my medicine out. I didn't take it before stream. So that's what I'm doing right now. Sensible me. Later's better than never, I suppose. The magic slate.
Archmage Alistair's magic slate. I like it. It looks important. And it's got lovely rounded corners, which of course makes the design unique for pattern purposes, I guess.
iPad hit.
At the moment, I have no questions. I don't know how the machine works. I need to learn more. The fire maker is an amazing piece of engineering. You fill it with flammable gas, which is then ignited using complicated technology.
I don't know what you used this bit for. They were really stuck, I think. We've looked at that, we've looked at that. Can't do anything with this. Yeah, can't do anything with that. We can look at this plant. Oh.
Maybe it was always a carnivorous plant. But then again, perhaps it adapted to its new environment to survive. Don't worry, little plant. From now on, I'll take care of you. You won't have to go hungry anymore.
Be careful, I might eat you.
That's disgusting. Oh, that smells like rotten eggs. Oh, like Grandad whenever he's eating bean soup.
Ew. It's doing the DBD thing where the spider hook grabs you. Except it's a plant.
I'm gonna hold my nose. That gas smells like, well, you know, gas.
We need to collect it. Let's go over here a bit. Come on, Wilbur, wake up. Get moving.
According to the plans, you have to fill the machine with a flam.
Like, look in here.
This has to be the oldest shoe I've ever seen. It's so old, it's even lost its ability to stink. That's strange. There's paper in the bottom of the shoe. Oh, maybe the shoe has a hole and the paper is supposed to protect the wearer from getting wet feet.
I mean, I wouldn't
Another
put
book page.
paper in there.
I'll take it with me.
I suppose if it was greaseproof paper, it would work.
Master Marcus told me everything I need to know. Hold your head high, inspire your students, and don't let things get you down.
Oh,
I just wish I wasn't entirely on my own.
well, you know, you've got us as we attempt to help you. So what do we have? Angry Kobold, keys, spell. I have the feeling. Let's go out here and see if there's anything that we haven't looked at yet. We looked up there.
The tapestry seems to be magic. At first the thread was very short, but now it's at least 4 paces long. I'll rip it off and take it with me. You can never have enough magic thread.
Sure, just deface it.
Those are the cobwebs the headmaster wants me to get rid of. Not only are there a lot of them, they're much too high for me.
Oh, we just have to click on it at the right time to disenchant it, apparently. So this might take a while. It's fine. Where's the part that moves the least? This is
There
true.
has to be a way.
And
Birds are flying, toads are leaping. Now is when the broom stops sweeping. Shazam! I should have known. After all, I'm not a witch. By the powers of magic manifested in me, I command you, stop. Please?
nope.
Nothing. Maximus Dominum Brumus Prohibere. Brumanus eon Domus Comicus Victorus. Nothing. Maybe I'd have more success if I didn't make stuff up.
I'm guessing we have to.
You've won. For the moment. But don't you get too cocky, because I'll be back after I find some help.
We've looked there, looked there. We can't. We've talked to him, but there's like nothing more to say. I don't think. He looks at the fireplace.
One of the dots is circled in black ink. Sea stone, mage school, staff room. That's this fireplace. A few lines lead away from the... Oh, there seems to be 2 other fireplaces here in the building itself. Seastone, Mage School, Astronomicon, and, hey, Seastone, Mage School, Library. If this fireplace is connected to the library fireplace, I might be able to use it to get in there. A nice pair of bellows. They really get a fire going. When my family wanted to forge something at home, I was in charge of the bellows. You are the most important gnome in this matter, they often used to say to me.
We want to take them? Let's see.
Excuse me, Headmaster Block.
Yes.
About those tasks.
Yes.
About the fireplace map over there.
Yes.
It shows several fireplaces in the school.
Of course. Large and important buildings can have more than just one access to the fireplace travel network.
One of them seems to be in the missing library.
Good thinking, Weathervane. Get to the bottom of it.
I'm already on it. But even if the fireplace was still reachable, don't you need a special magic powder to use the network?
True. You need some extremely rare and valuable fireplace travel powder. Only high-ranking civil servants receive small amounts of it.
Thank you.
Weathervane, aren't you listening? Only high-ranking civil servants get some for personal use.
But I thought I was supposed to find the missing library.
Of course, but without wasting my fireplace travel powder, thank you very much.
This guy is insufferable.
Oh, nothing.
Hmm?
So, I'll get back to work then.
You do that. After all, you have already accomplished something.
Isn't? But can I get some without the headmaster noticing?
I think we need the light on to be able to see more. I've already said that, but
I hope no one notices the broom is... I'll put it back when the...
let's go back out, see if we can say anything else to the troll.
I don't have anything to talk to him about, so that's good. I can't leave until I've completed this. I don't want to let you off.
There's something. I think maybe we have to ring on the Palantir.
Master Marcus told me everything I need to know. Hold your head high. I just
No.
wish I wasn't entirely...
Curious and curious. Old thread. I think this goes with this.
I could pull the thread through the hook at the end of the bone and use it as a kind of a needle. It worked! And I can even sew. Mum showed me while Dad was teaching Sydney how to weld. I could sew the pages into a quire later, but I still haven't found all of them.
Small pages we need to find. Keyring. I know.
I shouldn't... One spark, and we'd have the same... That was the time that Grandad lived on nothing but...
Can we not suck it up for this? Apparently not. I thought I had a genius moment there. It was. That's what it was. It was the thing that I thought it was. Got to stick on him.
Time for a little distraction. Hopefully this'll get Blocky's attention.
I don't think being kept in a pencil case will improve
So that would be the next...
his mood.
Go away!
Appalling, Headmaster.
Autosave. Oh, we stole some.
I should start a fire first.
Right, and then we go back this way, that's right. Like how it's exactly like I said it would be, where I remember how to do it, just not in the right order. Come in here, we approach the plants.
I'm gonna...
suck up the gas.
Got it.
Don't do anything with that. I think you put it in here.
Right then. If this gas isn't flammable, then I just don't know. Done! The machine is refueled.
Yay!
Here we go. And then there was light.
Then there
Who am I
was
talking
like,
to? There's no one here.
I was gonna say something cool.
Ah, the gas burns with a nice steady flame. And because it burns, it no longer smells.
Just burn forever.
Ah, the gas burns with a nice steady flame. And because it burns, it no longer smells.
Do we have anything we can set on fire?
Use the fire maker to destroy its own plans? I don't think so. I'm not a real
Maybe that was
expert
the
on
bad
irony or
idea.
that kind of thing.
Got to be something that we can use. There's nothing in here. Back into this room. Nothing in here. I think we're done in this room. Go back out here. We have a fire. In here.
I don't have anything to talk to him about, so that's good.
Good. Ah. I remember back in the same room again. Poor Will was walking a marathon because our brain is lagging right now. We need this on this.
Yes, I could get the fire to the staff room fireplace using the paper, but I should have a prepared fireplace waiting for me when I get there.
Did we not do that already? Did we not do that already? I'm sure we did. Brain, it's working good. Put this in there.
I don't need the empty carton anymore.
Now we can do it. Now we do it. Now we do it.
I'll tear a sheet from the notepad into strips. They should do to get the fire to the fireplace. Let's give it a try. Now, hurry! I tore a page from my loose leaf binder into strips. The paper strips... Ah! I was almost in the staff room.
Oops. There's a way of relighting it. Let's try again. There is a way of lighting it. We're not far enough over. We're not far enough over. The joy. Light.
A nice flame, but how do I get it to the fireplace in the staff room? Master Marcus's number won't help me anymore. He's probably already on his way.
This is what we lose. Oh no, we use this.
Now, hurry! Paper,
You.
No, everything's fine. I'll just go get my wand. Crap! I've no idea how to conjure up fire.
Oh, that
Done.
was scary. We finally have light.
Now come on, burn.
Did you say something, Professor Weathervane?
I'm just about to summon fire with my. Oh, fire! Come here.
Yeah.
Careful, Professor. Don't burn the whole tower down around you.
Sorry.
We did it.
The result was great, but how did I summon fire when all I did was wave my wand about? I don't like that. I hope no one notices the broom is missing. I'll put it back when the job's done.
And put this in.
Well, this should be interesting. The flames have turned green and the fire is suddenly cool. I guess it worked.
Let's save it here. I think this is where I'm going to stop it for now. And we'll find out what's in the library. I'll find out what's in the library next time. I want to say thank you to everyone who came today. And put with my memory being terrible about everything just in general, but with my half remembered memories of things that are going on. I hope everyone stays safe out there. Make sure you drink lots of fluids, don't get too hot, put sun cream on, wear a hat, take rests. Unless you're in the southern hemisphere, in which chance, don't get too cold. Wear lots of layers. Remember to wash your hands. That applies to everyone. Doesn't matter what hemisphere you're on. Be clean. I'll see you. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.